and that's what we talked about in the locker room. As lopsided as it felt, still in the fight at the end. And so we do have a tough crew with an attitude to battle. There's be a lot to learn from this game, and I also told the team that, like these are, got to apply the lessons that will be given today. And let's give Baltimore credit. They're a good outfit and played well. Love the fight that the guys had at the end, but there was a lot to overcome today. And although we're in at the end, it felt lopsided, but love the effort to go try to finish it. So all that said, glad to get it rolling.
And as you said, you guys were in it till the end. How did you feel about the compete level of these guys?
I thought we were really ready in that space and showed that all the way through. When you see a time of possessions, switch like it was and long drives, but coming into the half, at 17-10, I think we might have just missed a field goal into that spot. But I thought, that was the kind of back and forth fight we were expecting, certainly in that spot.
The offense wasn't going to be able to continue as it had for that kind of 2-3 week period. What do you think of Jaden and the offense?
I thought, like I said, going into the end, we thought we had some chances to hit some earlier, and we didn't. On some of the third downs, I thought, we were able to convert some, and the fourth downs as well. But by and large, not having enough completions and runs was a real factor. And same thing when you don't play complementary football, of getting enough third down stops, you don't get enough shots at it. And so coming in, we knew we'd have to steal some possessions. So to get the first turnover, I thought was a big deal, to get a turn of it and get there. And we thought that would have to be, the way we, find the margins to go win. And so when didn't create any offense. They did a good job of taking care of the ball, but not enough sustained drives.
Dan, in a game where Derrick Henry's obviously stopped slowing him down is a focus, was this a game where, I don't know if you needed more from your corners, but kind of exposed them a little bit more because you had more focus up on the run?
Yeah, I think you have to. This is the team that was leading the NFL in running, so going in, you have to do that. I thought earlier in the game, we played the run better. As the game wore down, I thought we wore down some, and including into the 4-minute at the end to go get a stop. So in the first half, I think they ended up with maybe 51, somewhere in that space, which I would have said would probably be somewhere you would have thought. And then at the second half, just like I said, too many shots at it.
And I know there's no moral victories at this level, but in terms of Jaden, the fact that they score, you guys come back and score, score again, get the field goal block, and then the second half kept coming. What does that say about him and his ability to be unrattled, seemingly?
I loved answers, and so you don't wait for a long time to do that. Again, at the end of the half, we thought we had a chance to go down, get a stop, get a 2-minute together, go down, take our shot to get the ball back again. So in those moments, Ben, he is really strong and really comfortable in that spot. We've, as a team, practiced a lot of those situations a bunch, and it shows.
Dan, go ahead. Dan, with a group like Baltimore that's been together, has had some continuity, how does that show up in key situations?
Yeah, that's a good question, Dave. A lot of respect for them because they played to their identity, played tough. I told John that after the game, as that was a quintessential finish, by you and your guys, and the way to go close it out. So both teams, I thought, have tough identities. And then I did say to the team, these are really important games for us to be in, to know this is what it's like to go and fight, and we need these, I called it a test inside, but we need these environments, we need the space and feel really comfortable in it, and that's what I wanted them to get across today, like being real comfortable in these kind of fights. And I think what I'm trying to say, Dave, I felt like they were. They've been in the tight ones, and so that's why it was important for us to be in this and having the fight all the way till the end to give us a chance at it. That was what I was looking for.
When you play a team that's had that kind of experience, and it's not the moral victory question, but how do you build on what you guys were able to do so that if you play another team like that that gives you a good shot, you can
I think
put it away?
The answer is we try to take the lessons that are applied for us. What are we going to take from this game? I would say you want to get better in every game, but I think there's some specific things that we can get better at, a lot better at, from this game. And that's what I expect us to do. But different guys had to step up, some guys going down, some injuries or some penalties on third down where that happens and you got to go, attack the next series and going. So even in the hardest of drives, goes a long one, they get a penalty. You can't let that deflate you into the next drive.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're fine. Go ahead. I got you.
You said that Jane is strong in those moments and comfortable.
Yes.
Does the rest of the team feel that about him?
Yes, they do.
Does it run through like the whole roster almost?
we work a lot at that. I would say there's a lot of belief in him, and I think it came, that belief, from a lot of the work that he's done. Like, we had one just Thursday in practice, that it was a 2-minute at the end of the game to go execute it, scrambled, kneeled, clocked it, field goal. So he is in those spaces. I think that's one of his real strengths, and fortunately for us, as a young player, you wouldn't normally count on that and keep building into that spot. But because he has real command in that space, the players do have a lot of beliefs. I would say, yes, it does go through the roster.
For the defense, and sorry if you already asked this, but, on some of those explosives that were allowed, how much of that was what Baltimore was doing, or were there details that you felt, you guys could have done better?
I don't know if it'd be details, but maybe they found maybe some of the, like in every coverage or run, there's some strengths and some weaknesses. So, for instance, if you were playing man-to-man and you had outside leverage, you're vulnerable inside. So I wouldn't say it wasn't like a communication issue that got us jammed up today, Nikki. I would say at the end, not fitting some runs exactly like you want, or a certain coverage in a fire zone that here's where the hole is and they hit it. So I had been impressed leading into the game with their passing game and Lamar, although the running game got so much attention. So I wasn't surprised to see them throw it well. I was disappointed to see the long screen early. That was one thing that we had talked about. But I knew they had a complete package. They may have not had to feature it as often in some games, but I knew they had that in their arsenal as a passing game too.
And you had a few defensive linemen that were banged up. John
Yes.
Allen, Dorrance, Javante.
Correct.
Any update on those
No
guys?
update. I'll try to give you as best I can tomorrow. During the game, both Dorrance and John weren't able to return, but I haven't visited with the medical people, so I'll give you some updates when we visit tomorrow in the afternoon.
Dan, we already know it wasn't a measuring stick game. You said that earlier
Right.
this week. But you did learn that today that your team can show up and fight against these teams, these caliber teams.
Correct.
Specifically, when you're back on that bus this afternoon, is there something that's just going to stick out to you as far as like, yes, that was great, or even on the negative side that we definitely could have done that better?
Going down at the end, we were down 2 scores, and so we were really clear if we got to a certain timeline, we would kick the field goal to go get a stop to give us another chance. So I thought, I'm pleased that the team understood the strategy there, where this is what we have to do to win when you're down 10 points, that it's not an ideal situation to be in. But knowing that we were able to communicate, if we get to this spot, we're going to kick it. We ended up, throwing an incomplete. Maybe Jaden even ran out of bounds. It was like his last drive. So to kick a field goal into that spot, go get into there to get that stop, that one leaves a mark, because if you get a stop and you get a punt, at least you have a good chance. Hey, man, it's a long drive to get into the end zone, but you got a shot. And with him, I feel like we're always in the fight, because sometimes he might just make a play outside the pocket with his legs that other people aren't capable of. And, they did a good job today of trying to corral him. There's still some times he gets outside and makes plays. So the lessons are there for us to learn. We will learn them. But I would say we're strong in the situations in our young time together, to reference what we were talking about earlier. And that's really important, because I think you guys probably know it better than me. Through the first 6 weeks, I think it's 75% of the games are close to that. Maybe it's 70% are within 1 score, within 8 points. And so that's the fun part of our league. Like, there's battles, and today was a battle. And when we take our shots, we got to learn from them and say, all right, we're going to be in a lot of these kind of fights against a lot of good teams. And I want us, that's what I was referring to, like, I want us to be comfortable in those spots. But you do have to go through them. And when you get a big, nice win at the end, we're able to pull people out. Those are fun. Theirs are good. And we definitely want more of those. But the ones today, I'd say sometimes the lessons there are just as effective.
Take 3 more.
Coach, you said today that Baltimore really played to their identities. As you look back at this, do you feel like your squad played to their identity as well?
Give me some more help on that.
So you mentioned that Baltimore was able to play to their strengths and use that 4-minute drill. Do you feel like your team played to their strengths in this game, or were you kind of?
I don't feel that way. I thought, like I said, at the half we were right in where we were supposed to be. I like the takeaway earlier. I don't like how we performed in the second half. I don't love how we performed on third down. I knew they were going to be really good in the run game. I didn't think we would get missed on some that we did. So I wouldn't say we played to their strengths, but we knew they were strong into that spot, and we'd have to throw it more than we normally do. That's kind of part of the game plan too, to say if they're strong in this area, you have to be able to adjust. So as lopsided as it felt, I said I still thought we were in it at the end and had a strategy to go win it. We just didn't get it done.
Dan, obviously Brian Robinson was inactive.
Yep.
I don't know how it was a close decision, but what's his sort of status for you guys right
Yeah,
now?
I'll hitch on that again tomorrow. We're certainly making progress. We just, not going to put the guys out there if they can't do their thing at full speed. And so not being able to turn it around for practice like we wanted to on Friday. Let's give it another look Saturday, still sore. So in that case, we'll make the best decision for the guys. Even for him, he'd want to go anytime. But let's look what it looks like this week, and hopefully we can turn the corner to get him back into his groove.
Without
Got time for one more?
Without Brian, was it kind of game script or difficult to kind of stay balanced between pass and run?
No, we knew that there would be some hard runs, but we thought at times that'll help you on the play passes. Like even though you got to stick to it, because anytime you become one-dimensional and guys can start ripping to go, it just changes it. I just wish we had more shots at bat, in this one, because that's where the time of possession and just kind of got worn down as it goes. Then every one you feel this urgency. We got to go convert. We got to get this, and so it was harder to get into that battle rhythm. But like I said, there's a lot to learn. I don't know what the total play numbers, but it felt very lopsided from a time of possession. And I was just kind of encouraging the defense, just the next stop. That's all you have to worry about. And they had things they wanted to clean up, but just the next play, the next stop. So like I said, there'll be a lot to learn from it. All right, thank you, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow.